Welcome back to your newest favorite podcast, Beards and Bitcoins, where BitBoy and J-Chains get together each week to talk about crypto and things happening in the community. They will bring you some special guests and giveaways, so make sure you're subscribed. For all show-related news, you can find the guys on various social media outlets. Everything is listed on the official show Twitter account, @BeardsBitcoins. Now, without further introduction, two dudes that have beards like Bitcoins and want to talk to you about both, BitBoy and J-Chains.
Hey everybody, welcome back to your new favorite podcast. Well, not so new anymore. We are now on episode 6 of the cast, Beards and Bitcoins. I am your co-host, BitBoy, and that is our other co-host, J-Chains. Say what's up, J-Chains.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're feeling all right. Thank you for joining us. Want to say a special thank you to our sponsor for the show, Huddle Fuel. It is some pretty darn good coffee with a crypto theme. So in case you didn't know, they've got a limited October release right now for pumpkin spice. So make sure you get that pumpkin spice, all right? You can check them out on Twitter @HuddleFuel, or you can get them on their website, huddlefuel.com. So check it out. Get some. It's delicious. BitBoy, I know you've had it. So what's going on in your world, my man?
Well, first, we got to mention our giveaway we're going to be doing this week for Huddle Fuel. We are going to be doing another giveaway. As you know, the last couple weeks, we've been giving away a bag of Huddle Fuel to our guests. But now, once again, we're throwing it back to you guys to have the chance to win your own free bag of Huddle Fuel coffee. All you got to do, we're going to post a question on Twitter. You just got to respond to it. Remember our Twitter handle, @BeardsBitcoins. And the question this week, so you can go ahead and be thinking about it because it's what we're going to be talking about today, is what is your best catfish story? And no, I'm not talking about the time that you were out on a boat with your dad and you were reeling one in and you got a little whisper on your hand that burnt you a little bit. No, I'm talking about a catfish, i.e. someone who is pretending to be someone else. That's what we're going to be talking about. It's kind of a hot topic in crypto right now. So other than that, though, my week has gone really, really well. I've been very busy. I was actually in Pittsburgh this last weekend. I went to the Steelers-Falcons game, NFL football. My friend Crypto Rusty got me front row tickets. It was so awesome, but unfortunately the Falcons got absolutely destroyed, and it was a bad game. We're now in like must-win situation. But I actually had to do a video on my channel this week where I wore a Steelers hat, so it was like pretty humiliating. But big shout out to Crypto Rusty for hooking me up with those tickets because they were definitely creme de la creme. So what about you, J-Chains? What's been going on with you this week, bud?
Well, I had a great weekend. My little brother and my cousin came to visit me here in Texas. We actually got ACL going on last week. It'll happen again this week. But we actually missed some of the ACL festivities. We went out to a bar, and just so happened that we were pretty much at a private show for Nelly. We bought the VIP package, got the bottle service. Man, it was pretty sick. And with that, somehow I was front row. I got like 10 high fives from Nelly. This is now my Nelly hand. I had it like in a plastic bag for 2 days, just keeping it safe. Gotta keep that Nelly hand safe, my man. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I know what you're saying. Nelly is definitely one of my all-time favorites. He doesn't have anything really he's dropped lately that's been hot. But man, when that Country Grammar hit, dude, I was in high school. I was probably like a junior or whatever. Like, that was friggin' fire. Dude, that Country Grammar was one of the best CDs ever, man. Every song on there was classic. Then the St. Lunatics. Actually, the first concert I ever went to was the TRL Live Tour with Destiny's Child and Nelly and the St. Lunatics. And also whatever the name of that group was that Puff Daddy put together. I think Dream from like one of those MTV reality shows. And 3LW. I think that's everybody. That'll wrap it up. So it was a very weird concert. But I did.
But man, I got to tell you, it was a great weekend. It was nice to see some family. Good to get out and do some things around town. So it was a good experience. I'm glad that we did it. So other than that, man, that's pretty much how my last week went. So.
Well, dude, we're just out there living life. You know, we're living life every week. You know,
doing it, baby.
We do more than just crypto. We also live. Which is more than many people can say. So, all right, well, this is going to bring us to an exciting moment of the show right now. We are actually introducing an official new segment of the show called the Twitter Shout Out. We've actually done this in the past a few times, but we didn't make it official. And we actually have a brand new sponsor that we brought on board for this segment of the show. Oh, we killing it. It is the Crypto Movement Twitter Shout Out. And Crypto Movement is the movement part is spelled MVMT, if you didn't know, and it is crypto apparel for the crypto enthusiast. We got a 10% off code that you can actually use. The code on the website, which is crypto-mvmt.com, is Beards Bitcoins. That'll get you 10% off. They got some fly shirts. They got some Bitcoin shirts that look like Netflix shirts, some look like Stranger Things. A lot of cool stuff on there. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram at Crypto Movement. Once again, MVMT, same thing on Facebook. And then the website is, like I said, crypto-movement.com. So got a lot of gear. That's something that's really cool in the space right now is just all the gear that's coming out. I've got several people I know that, have websites. I've got my own merch going on. But I think this is definitely something that can help spur, adoption and things going mainstream. Is everybody rocking crypto shirts? As you guys can see, I got my BitBoy crypto hat on right now. If you're watching on Satoshi dropped, baby. Well, and that's if you're watching the video. If you're listening on iTunes, then that didn't make any sense to you. But but so anyways, so this is the Crypto Movement Twitter shout out. Jay Chains, who are you shouting out on Twitter this week?
I am going to shout out to Adele DeMayer. She is of the Crypto Collectors, and they are your #1 blockchain tech, crypto collectibles, and gaming publication. They're pretty active in what they do. I know that she does a lot of big time interviews and five questions for somebody. So big shout out to Adele. What's up? What's up? What about you, my man? Who you got today?
So I'm going to shout out my friend on Twitter, Panama Crypto. His handle is at Panama_TJ. And he just he's a really nice guy in the space. He is very friendly. Everything he says is very positive. He's been bringing he does interviews with different crypto influencers, which I really, really, really like. I know he's done one with, I think, Wendy, Bitcoin Bella, several different people. And I think that's going on Medium. So I think that's kind of his, I think Medium is his medium for writing his articles, if you will. Whoop, 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 whoop. So he's a really cool guy. Like I said, I think he's always doing real positive stuff. His interviews are really, really great. So you guys check him out on Twitter, and that's who I'm going to shout out this week. So that was the crypto the crypto Twitter shout out, if you will, sponsored by Crypto Movement. So, all right, Jay Chains, let's get into it. What are we talking about today?
Today we are going to be talking about catfishing. We are going to be talking about people who pretend to be someone else. Not fishermen, because I can't even pretend to be a fisherman. I don't have patience for that. So yeah, we're going to talk about catfishing. It's a phenomenon that's really picked up in the. It was a huge thing, in the last couple of days into last week, but it's really kind of picked up over the last couple of years. Especially as with crypto, but once the internet really kind of got into full swing, you see a lot of people pretending to be someone who they're not. Whether it's for gain, whether it's for friendship, whatever the reason is, it's something that really has kind of turned up, and I think that's a good idea for us to be talking about because it's kind of invading the space a little bit. And like I was saying, crypto Twitter last week was blowing up over some catfishing things. So I know that you got pretty active with some of the conversations. I'm excited to hear what you got to think about it. I hope that that we can have a good discussion about this because it's something that's pretty big right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually did not get that involved in it intentionally. I did make one tweet that I think someone took the wrong way what I was saying, but about it, where I posed this question like, do you care if people call out legitimate catfishes? And then the person who is the center of this whole thing, which is the Cryptomist, is the Twitter handle that was involved in the whole thing. She unfollowed me on Twitter. So I guess she saw that and she thought I was saying, I don't know if she is or not. I do have my personal opinions and leanings on it, but that wasn't the point of my tweet. My tweet is, do you care if the people you are talking to, following, taking advice from, are not actually who they say that they are? Now, and this is we got to make a distinction, right? Because obviously, let's take Crypto Dog. He's very big on Twitter. Everybody knows Crypto Dog, right? He's got a little Abby with the dog with the glasses. It's real funny. But does anyone actually believe that that's a real dog? No, absolutely not. No one thinks that a dog is able, like maybe they got really long nails and aren't like typing with their paws, they might be able to, but they can't type on Twitter. Like, let's face facts. If we get around the intellectual discussion of dogs, if they could do it, no one believes.
Reminds me of that GIF though, right? Where you see the cat go.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. No. So nobody believes that that's a dog. However, if you have a Twitter account that is a woman, okay, who is very, very, very good looking in all of her pictures, and there may be videos attached, how would you feel if you found out that she is not who she claims to be? Obviously, with a dog, we know that's not the case, but there's something that seems to be a little bit different about it when you're actually talking about someone who is, pretending to be a girl, and it's really like some random dude out there. What do you think, Jay Chains? Do you think it's the same thing?
I think it is the same thing. It's funny. I've never even thought about the reverse catfish, right? Where you've got a female who's pretending to be a male. I mean, I don't know if I've heard too many stories like that, but the whole thing about catfishing, and obviously we'll get further into this as the show goes on here, but does it really matter? I would say no, but at the same time, yes. On a psychological level, it's kind of strange, but on a content level, I don't think it really matters a whole lot to me. I mean, if it's good stuff, if the charts are good, if the advice is good, if the memes are funny, funny jokes and good polls or whatever they're doing, if it's on Twitter or whatever medium they have to be on, it doesn't really bother me so much, other than maybe on a psychological level. I personally have never pretended to be a female online. I think that maybe we might see some more of this happen, maybe as the years go on, or if we switch over to and I'm really excited. This is probably one of my favorite parts to talk about this, because I think we kind of hit on it last week with McAfee. Was once the internet becomes decentralized, you're not going to be able to fake who you are.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
So that, and again, we can save some of the meat and the potatoes for later. But me personally, it's not something that bothers me per se. It's funny. I might get a laugh out of it, and it's confusing, but it doesn't bother me. What about you?
Yeah, it bothers me a lot, honestly. And let me get into this. Why? Like, where is the line? Okay. Like, let's say we have someone who is claiming to be a retired military veteran. Okay. And he's the one posting all these charts, and he's doing it from an approach of, I was a retired military veteran, and like, a portion of what I make, I actually send to the, to the USO or whatever. Like, where's the line? Like, that sounds pretty crazy, right? If somebody's pretending to be a veteran. Now, what about this?
That's serious. That is serious. Stolen valor. You got a good point there.
Okay. So, and then you talk about maybe like, okay, what about someone who pretends to have cancer? It's like, it's my dying wish for you to follow my charts. Like, where is the line between what's decent and what's not decent? And I think if you really start dicing that down, things like this is where the slope gets a little slippery. And if anybody who watches my channel, follows me on social media, knows I'm all about being transparent and being upfront with people. Like, I'm probably way too honest about stuff. I probably say too much about my life. I probably say too much about what I do, the inner workings of my channel. Like, a lot of people would say that's bad advice, but I just like to be honest and upfront with people, like, at all times, So for me, this goes like hardcore against my morals, hardcore against my ethics, hardcore against who I am as a person and the things that I value. So that's why it really bothers me. And you can even trace it out further than that. You can say, okay, so if you've got, let's just assume, now this is a big assumption. I'm not saying this. I don't know this for sure. I'm not making a personal statement about it, but let's say Crypto Mist was a catfish. Okay. Let's say that she whoever the person behind the account is, got her from Fiverr or got her from, Upwork, whatever it might be. She sends them little videos, whatever. She's not who she says she is, hypothetically, okay? And this guy realizes that this works, okay? So then what's the next step? What's the next account he's going to create? How many of these different accounts can he create to reach all of these demographics? And what it's doing is creating a very like unfair playing field for people that are out there trying to market with their signals or whatever. Because here's the thing, if you have a chart and Crypto Mist has a chart and they're the exact same chart, who do you think the people are going to follow? The hot chick or the dude with the beard that likes Bitcoins? What do you think?
I can say probably 99.999% of the time it's going to be the hot chick.
Exactly.
That's who I follow that hot chick over myself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So to me, that's where it gets a little dicey because you're talking about unfair playing field. You're talking about what I believe is unethical. And like, yes, at face value, I understand what you're saying. At face value, if the content is good and the chart is good and you join a paid group from this person, okay, and ultimately you make money from it, on face value, you're right. There's no difference. But when you really get unraveling the whole thing and kind of the larger issue it creates, that's where I really start having, issues and problems with it. So
that makes a ton of sense. And I think, from the perspective when I was thinking about this, if you're trying to get a couple laughs, if you just want to get a couple likes or a couple followers on your social media account, who cares? But when you start taking advantage of people, you play into people's emotions, right? Like you said, you're pretending to be a vet, or you pretend to be someone who is dying or sick, or when you play into those emotions and you take advantage of somebody, that's a totally different story. And I'm 100% with you on that. But if I'm just after some laughs or just after some followers or some tweets, that's, I guess, like I said, it doesn't really bother me then. But
yeah, and I understand your point there. If money is not involved, then it's just somebody doing something weird, is what it boils down to. When money is involved, now you're starting to add extra elements in. And with this situation that was, became really popular, there was certainly money involved, or there is. Crypto Miss does have a paid group. And, it really, it's funny. This really like almost, I've seen two things divide crypto Twitter before. Number one is who is and who is not a catfish. And number two is any post about my hierarchy of hamburger rankings. Those are the two things.
You cannot talk trash about In-N-Out anymore. That did not go well.
It did not. People do not like the fact that they do not like In-N-Out. But also people did not understand I was trolling to some extent. Like I really don't think McDonald's is better than In-N-Out. Like I said in my hierarchy, that was really to shout out my boy Crypto Sandy, who's a big In-N-Out fan, just kind of drive the steak in. But I do stick with the Five Guys number one, Shake Shack number two, In-N-Out. Out of those three would still be number three, but obviously it is better than McDonald's and it is better than a homeless man that gave me a cheeseburger one time. So
I agree with you there.
Yeah, but the whole point of what I was trying to say, if we go back here, is that this discussion really split crypto Twitter in half. As you guys know, we talk a lot about community. Crypto Twitter is, it's funny. Somebody was like, how do you get to crypto Twitter? Where is it? And I was just like, you just follow crypto people. It's not like when I talk about crypto Twitter, some people think it's a different place. It's Twitter. It's just you follow people that are, involved in crypto. And, there were a lot of big people that got involved in this. They're, Creative Raw, aka Creative Albie, or formerly Creative Albie, Show Gates, Crypto Fungus, Bitcoin Bella, Crypto Wendy got drug into it. Like there were a lot of really big names in crypto Twitter that got drug into this thing, and kind of some lines were drawn, and I don't know.
I would say so. Absolutely. It got dicey, man. Like you said, it created a divide. And I know, like, in our Satoshi Droppers group, it was something, it took over. It took absolutely over the feed for at least a day?
Yeah. Oh, longer than that. I mean, it carried on 2 or 3 days.
But it was hot and heavy, and just going back and forth, and listen to who said what and how they said it and how they personally attacked somebody, and like you said, man, it got nasty, and something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully, in the future, it's something that we can try to minimize, because it was.
Well, unfortunately, it got really, really, really personal, and I definitely like I said, I like to stay kind of out of this. I do have personal opinions about this whole thing. I have personal opinions about Crypto Mist. I have personal opinions about who said what in this Twitter thread, but I stay out of it. Like I can keep my personal opinions to myself. And, the fact is that there were certain statements and certain things that were said and done in this chat that definitely crossed the line, in my opinion. I'll leave that up to you guys to figure out who crossed the line at what point, but some things definitely crossed the line. And I think it's really I think if we were in a bull run, I don't think this would be happening. I think that in this bear market, we kind of have like, people going at each other. There's almost nothing else to do, because the markets are, either boring or terrible all the time. So, but
Salt season just lasted way too long, man.
Oh, for sure. And it seems to just get worse, And the thing about it is, like, we're all on the same team. That's why it's not important for me to divulge my personal opinions about these things, because at the end of the day, regardless of whether this person's a catfish or regardless of what I felt about what this person said or what this person said in that thread, at the end of the day, like, we're all for crypto. And like, imagine if you're a new person coming into crypto, then you just get on crypto Twitter and then you see this and you see everybody attacking each other. You're going to think it's a big freaking space of bullies,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to scare you away. I mean, yeah, exactly. But it's funny when you think about this, it's a lot of different industries or areas of your daily life where, I mean, it's same kind of political divide. It's the same thing, right? If I were to start talking about politics and my feelings of politics on crypto Twitter, I mean, there are a lot of people that don't feel the same way as I, but there are people that do. And I think that could spark the same thing. And we could save that topic for a whole nother day, but it's very similar, right? It's personal opinions. It's how someone feels about something, but it's just so divisive. And I think maybe that's part of the issue that, like you were just saying, with this bear season, and it's just, people's portfolios are 90% down or wherever they happen to be. And so everybody's just a little testy, and we need something to talk about that's maybe a little bit more positive and upbeat. And like you said, come together. Let's come together as a community. Let's advance the crypto and let's push it to the world, and let's all just be one. Because like you said, man, we are all on the same team. We're all trying to advance this. We can't do it without everybody coming together. We gotta be a family.
Yeah, and what you just said right there is exactly why we chose to make our podcast about community, and about the culture of crypto, all different aspects of it, because that's something that's really, really, really important, not just to me, but for our movement. If I so a lot of you guys know I'm involved in, possibly a TV show. I guess the name of it I can say now, it's called The FUD-Buster. I saw somewhere where somebody else had said it. Yeah, boom, boom. So that's the name of the show. I'm involved with Crypto Cake TV. It's a 24-hour cryptocurrency TV channel. Hopefully everything's going to go fine with it, and it's, my show's going to get picked up, and I'll be starting, with that next month, or not next month, but in February. But the whole reason why I brought this up is because it's really cool the way that this is being funded. Okay, this is not being funded by some giant TV company that wants to make a crypto channel, that wants to make a ton of money directly from a channel. I think they would probably be okay with almost breaking even, because the whole goal of the channel is to bring forth adoption and to bring crypto mainstream. And of course, yes, if you're an early Bitcoin investor and Bitcoin goes mainstream, then you're going to profit way more than you would from a TV channel anyways. However, I really like that idea of just trying to bring everybody together, like trying to reach out to those people that aren't involved in crypto and bring them in the space. And I think things like we've been talking about today, like the catfish, the divisiveness, like that's going to push those people away. And we got to do whatever we can at all costs to bring these people in. And we've got these Bitcoin investors, early ones, who are willing to actually like put their money where their mouth is to do it. So my question would be to everyone listening, like, if you're into crypto, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to bring adoption? What are you doing to bring this to the mainstream? What are you doing to bring the love and the positivity forward, in the space? So I know, like with the Satoshi droppers, we're all about community, right? Proof of community. What you say, Jay Chains?
Oh man, I mean, I could just echo everything you just said. I mean, it's all about
echo. Sorry, I literally echoed.
Bringing awareness, right? Let's at a positive level, on a altogether level, just bring the awareness, because there are how many people in this world?
About 6 billion or so, 7 billion maybe.
Right. You would never expect all of them to get into crypto, but you start to see undeveloped nations, or you've got these countries who, their governments and their leaders are inflating their currencies 1,000,000%. All right. Mm-hmm. There is going to be a time where there are segments all over the world that are going to need crypto, and they're going to turn to people, because I remember the first time I got into it, I didn't know anything. I couldn't even understand what it was. And so I had to ask people, right? But if you go out to ask people, and you just see nothing but negativity, you're never going to, I mean, it's just going to scare you off. And if you can't be scared off, because now that's what your life's going to depend on, is having a digital currency to get your food, to pay your rent, to buy your car, whatever it is, you just can't be divisive all the time. And I really hope that, we can all find a way to figure this out, because like I was saying, man, the world's going to need it. A lot of people are going to depend on crypto. And so let's just figure it out. Let's move it forward. Let's all be cool. Let's be a big family.
Be cool.
And that's it, man. Be cool, man.
Be cool, man. That sums it up right there.
What was that? Was it Mr. Rogers or one of those guys? He said, take care of your neighbor.
I think he said, like, be a good neighbor. No, it's Allstate. Dang, that's Jake from State Farm, maybe. I don't know who that is. I'm not sure. Well,
there you go.
But, like, one thing I've started doing, I really picked this up from both of my friends, is your friends as well, Andy from the Coin Boys, a.k.a. producer, by the way, and my friend Crypto Breakfast, a.k.a. Brecky Von Bitcoin. Yeah, what they've started doing is actually, like, every time they take an Uber, talking to their Uber driver about cryptocurrency. And I actually did that this week when I was in Pittsburgh. I started talking to my Uber driver, and I kind of was like, talking about kind of some tech stuff. I asked her like where Walmart was, and I was telling her like, probably Walmarts are going to be gone in the future and they're going to be warehouses. I think Crypto Stash gave me this theory that like eventually all Walmarts will just be distribution centers for drones to bring stuff to your house, which, it sounds really crazy to me, but I think the more I've been thinking about it, the more it makes sense. You think like, oh, well, they won't carry like 25 bags to your house, like if you're shopping for groceries, but in the future, just when you run out of beans, you're going to press a button and the beans are going to be there. You know what I mean? You won't have to buy all this stuff at one time anymore. But that's a totally separate subject. But I was talking to her about that because I asked why there's only like 3 Walmarts in Pittsburgh, apparently, which is insane because I have like 3 within 10 minutes from me, here in Georgia. And so I started talking about that, and I was like, well, what do you know about like digital money, like digital currency? And she was like, I don't know. And I said, well, have you heard of Bitcoin? And she was like, the same thing almost everyone says. Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't really know anything about it, or I don't know what it is. And I'm just like, how have you not heard of it?
That is such the answer. You get that from everyone, right?
Everybody, So
I do like that. I like asking. I like that you go out and you talk to your people, right? So you talk to your Uber driver, your Lyft driver, whatever. You're wearing your Bitcoin, your Satoshi shirt, or your Don't Get Wrecked shirt, and someone says, "Hey, what does that mean?" And you get to tell them, and you explain it, but inevitably, right at the get-go, on the onset of the conversation, it's always that same thing. Oh, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, and
push it.
It's crazy because like you just feel like we're have you ever seen that movie They Live?
I have not.
Okay, so They Live is it's a cult classic movie. It's from the 80s. It's got Roddy Piper in it. And basically the premise of the movie, you've probably seen memes from it before and don't even know that's what it's from. But basically like everybody has these or certain people have these glasses. They almost look kind of like 3D glasses. And when you wear the glasses, you're actually able to see the truth behind all advertising. So like you'll see a picture of like, someone smoking a cigarette on a billboard. This is an 80s movie. And like, if you put the glasses on, like you would see it actually says like death and decay behind it. And like aliens have taken over the world and people didn't even realize it. And like they look like regular people, but when you wear the glasses, you can see the truth. When you wear the glasses, you can see who are the aliens and who are the real people. And I know this sounds like a really far stretch, but that's the way that I see it. It's like when we're in crypto, we have the glasses, like we're seeing the truth of what's happening with digital currencies, and we're able to see the future that is coming. And it just feels like everybody else is walking around with a glazed look on their face and they have no idea what they're missing. Do you ever have that idea?
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's something you see, and I've actually seen a couple of posts on Twitter about this recently, where and even we talked about this last week with McAfee. I hate to keep bringing that up, but the fact of it, we are in a pivotal time right now. Like this is going to be crunch time, and once the next boom happens, if you're not in, you missed out. I mean, you missed out on the big boom, right? I mean, the good thing about a Bitcoin is that there's a ton of Satoshis in a single Bitcoin, right? So you'll always have the opportunity to get in. It's just, the level at which you can get in is going to be different. So, as much as I tell people, and as much as we continue to tell people, and I know you do the same thing, and everybody that's in the space, just get in, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well. If you're looking to change your careers, if you've got a skill set that is specific to anything in the regular world, that translates into the crypto world as well.
Definitely.
You don't just have to be an investor. You can find a job with a graphics agency, or find a job with a publisher, or if you're good on a computer and you can write code, man, there are probably 1,000+ jobs that you can get yourself into. And every person that makes the jump, whether it's an investor, whether it's a graphic artist, whether it's a coder, whether it's a developer, whatever you do, the more people jump in, the bigger the space gets, the more advanced we're going to get, and the better off as a society we will be, because we all know banks aren't in it to help you.
Nope.
They hold your money, but they're not helping you, right?
Yeah, they wouldn't even give you all your money sometimes.
Oh, they like to take a little scoop off the top. It's whatever. I mean, that's, again, we're moving way off the topic of catfishing, but it's whatever you can do to advance the space and not be divided and not pretend to be someone else. Just do it. Unless you want to pretend to be a hot girl to get a couple laughs or to get a couple likes or a couple followers, so be it. But don't take advantage of people and their emotions.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we don't want in the space. The weird thing to me, though, is that this, that is kind of a divisive thing within itself, because a lot of people still don't care. Like, a lot of people are of the opinion that it literally does not matter. It doesn't matter if they're doing it for money. It doesn't matter if they're, going against the premise of blockchain, which is transparency, and doing something totally counter to the movement. Like, there's a lot of people that just absolutely don't care about that. And so, I don't know. I guess they're like, there's some people that will have some certain political leanings that will cause them to think certain different things about catfishing and about people pretending to be something else and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm probably going to always speak out against it, because I don't think it's a good thing. So and I remember earlier you said something about, that you really didn't know of girls pretending to be guys. Like, that's in crypto right now. You're right. I don't see a lot of that. However, if you have ever watched the show Catfish on MTV, you'll see it actually happens all the time. There have been some crazy stories on there about people, pretending to be, and I don't know how much of it's TV. I don't know how much of it's acting. I don't, know a lot about it, about the individual stories. So I know there's definitely a lot of crazy stuff there. And I don't want to be associated with any show that's a sensationalized MTV show. Like, I don't want that really in our space. So
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, you know what? And I can actually, now that you say that, and I've never watched the show. I don't even know the last time I even put on MTV. I didn't even know it was still on the air. Sorry if there's any MTV executives listening. I apologize. But I guess it does make sense, right? Because in a world
next week's sponsor, MTV, for the podcast. They're trying to get back on the map. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I can totally see this in a world where we should be equal. Men and women should be equal. I feel that way. I know you feel that way. A lot of our friends feel that way. And the fact that it's not quite that, that's upsetting. But I can see that, if you have a telecommute job and you don't have to put yourself in front of a camera, you could pretend to be a man to get a little extra pay. I mean, You're writing the same articles. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman writing these articles, but if you make yourself out to be a man, you might get a little bit more for your article. So I guess I can see that. I don't know any cases of it. And like you said, I don't see it on crypto Twitter. And I've never seen the MTV show Catfishing. I've heard of it because you and I are having these conversations, but I've never seen it. But I guess it does kind of make sense that can actually be happening. It's weird, but it can happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the show, there's some weird stuff that's going on there for sure. I mean, people pretending to be different people, like, just purely for revenge and to mess with somebody. People doing it because they're like, transgender, and they know the other person wouldn't like that, and so they're pretending to be something they're not. Like, there's just a lot of craziness that goes on that show. I could probably talk about that show for a long time on its own merits.
Would you consider in real life, so now it's not behind a computer, in real life, all right, you're out at the bar, you meet an attractive woman, and then you find out later, whether it's at home or still in the bar, that this attractive woman is not really a woman. Is that catfishing?
I would say technically that is not catfishing. Because you're face to face. Like, the whole idea of a catfish is you're withholding your identity digitally or through communication, like through a phone or whatever. I think that's its own situation I will once again not comment on. I certainly have personal feelings about that, but I will certainly leave those to the imagination. But as far as like, is that a pure catfish? I would say no, definitely not. So we're living in a weird time, dude. I think it's a weird time we're living in, man.
Absolutely. I'm only in my mid-30s, and I feel in the last 10 years or so, things have gotten weirder. And I can only imagine in the next 10 years how much more weirder it's going to get. But, I live in Austin. Texas. And I know that
it's like the hipster capital of the South, other than Nashville.
Keep Austin weird, man. I know Portland's doing that too now, but
they're up there. They're way up there.
Yeah, that's hipsterville now, man. Let them have it. It is a weird time. I'm a pretty accepting guy. I don't judge people for who they are. I guess unless you're catfishing for the sake of benefiting yourself and taking something from someone else. I think, like you said earlier in the show, there is a line. I guess maybe because I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, you could say maybe I'm naive to all of it. I understand it. I get why people would do that. But it's just, on a psychological level, why would you do that? Knowing that you're trying to hurt somebody for your capital gain.
Well, one thing that happened recently was, I think the name was Crypto Crunch was the name of someone so like Creative Raw, formerly Creative Albie, he has been on a tear finding evidence out about who's catfishing and who's not. And he came across Crypto Crunch. It had a nice, cute girl for the profile picture, Turns out it was definitely a dude, 100%. And the comment was made from a bigger account. I can't remember who it was, but made a statement about like, pretending to be a woman for a couple months or for like a couple weeks on Twitter is one thing, but doing it for like an entire year, like you may have some like actual issues you need to deal with, That's true. Like people, I don't know, like I just can't imagine a normal person wanting to get their rocks off. You know what I mean? Like kind of getting off on pretending to be a woman on social media and not really being a woman. It doesn't make sense to me. The money thing does make sense to me. I don't like it. You see what I'm saying? Like that's not,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I can process that in my mind why someone would want to do that. However, with the other, like I just can't get it. So big shout out to Creative Albie for some people think he pressed too hard. Some people think he pressed too hard on some stuff. And like I said, there was some stuff that went over the line with some different accounts, but he's done a pretty good job of definitely finding out at least a few, And here's the other thing. We don't know what these catfish accounts are doing in the DMs. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what they're doing in the DMs. We have no idea. We can't.
I am not sliding into those DMs, my man.
Heck no, dude. Heck no. I'm going in. Definitely not going in head first. No way, no how am I doing that? So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's only one layer of this that we can even see. We can't even see what's going on under the surface as far as DMs or who they're reaching out to. We've seen, and the catfishing is not like it. I guess a better word than just catfishing for all of this would be impersonating. Like a really popular scam that's going on Telegram is where you basically get the same icon as a popular person, a big account, and you get something very close to their name, and then you go to their Telegram group. And so you start messaging people from the group like, oh, hey, it's Crow. I saw you said this. Like, I know people have done that for Crypto Crow in the past. They say, oh, hey, it's Jason from Crypto Crow. Like, hey, I wanted to ask you, if you got into mining or whatever, hey, do you think I could borrow a few Bitcoins? Like, he would never ask for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no influencer or person is going to actually be like, hey, do you think you could slide me a few Bitcoins? Like, my poor family. But yet people fall for it all the time because people are impersonating people to the max. And like, it's when someone's doing it on Twitter for like an ETH giveaway, like when that was the big scam on Twitter, like, yes, those people are scum of the earth, no question about it. But that's like a level 1 catfish, like that's like very simplistic. All you do, you get an account name that looks similar, but when you start like DMing people and doing things behind the scenes that aren't in public that other people can't see, like that definitely adds a whole nother level to this conversation. And go ahead, Jay James.
I was gonna say absolutely, man. That was actually something that I deal with. I don't want to say quite frequently, but pretty often. I told you before, I work for an exchange, and so I'm one of the admins on the Telegram channel. And I'd say, if I had to guess, no more than around 10 times a month, right? We get people pretending to be us. We get people pretending to say, hey, you need to send, like someone's pretending to be me and saying, hey, you need to send me 1 Ether. There's something wrong with your account, and we'll unlock it for you and stuff. It's like, wait a second. Why do you need to send me personally some Ether or Bitcoin off the exchange, to get your account unlocked or something? I mean, that just doesn't even make sense, but people fall for it. People absolutely fall for these things. I know we've talked about this on some other shows where, like the same thing like you were just saying, that ETH thing. Like people legitimately were sending Ether with the anticipation of getting
thousands of dollars.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Send 1 to 2 ETH and I'll send you 15 back. And this was back when the price was at $1,200, So it's really, dude, it's just mind blowing. And I think that this, this is the pros and the cons of cryptocurrency versus the banks, right? With the banks, granted, they're stealing money from us all kinds of different ways, just in the way their profit structures work. And there's a lot of stuff about it that's really, really crappy. But the one thing the banks do add, for the most part, is a level of security to your money. Okay.
I've had my the insurance, right?
Yes. I've had my debit card scanned, stolen, whatever, like 4 or 5 times in my life. And I've had to like identity fraud and different stuff. And luckily, like each time it was just a single occurrence and it didn't get, bigger than that. But every time the bank gave me my money back, just like, hey bank, this wasn't me. They're like, okay, sure. Like here, fill out this form. We'll send you your money back. I was like, okay, cool. But crypto, we're getting rid of the banks, but we're losing that level of security, and we have to be responsible for our own money. And that's a transition that I think right now what we're seeing is some growing pains. For myself, I got fished. It happened to me. I lost about $2,400, which was actually a much larger investment. It was after the market had already dropped. So, I know the weight of that, the weight of what it's like to make a bad decision. And of course, I learned from it. I'm looking forward to, continuing to move away from that and make smart decisions in the future. But we're going to have to be responsible for our own money. So it's just definitely a different paradigm than, we've been used to.
I have to, what you just said, man, that's probably one of my favorite things about crypto. And especially now that I understand it, I understand the private keys, I understand the wallets, the structure of all this stuff. Having control of my own money, it's liberating. That's my money. I'm not giving it to a bank. They're not.
Where's my money?
That's my money, baby. They're not taking money off the top. I mean, what I have is what I have, and it's great. And I said it's liberating. It feels good to know that what I'm doing with my money is anything that I want, and no one's going to profit off of me unless I get scammed. And they're going to.
That's it.
Then I'm not going to be happy.
That's it, man. Well, cool. Well, listen, Jay Chains, we're getting close to the end of the show here. Do you have any kind of final thoughts you want to make about this whole situation?
My final thought, and maybe it's more like a PSA, and I think I've said it probably a couple times in the show, and you've changed my opinion on some aspects. That's what's up. I will always feel that it's funny and it's weird and There's maybe a little bit something psychologically wrong with you if you pretend to be someone who you're not. If you pretend to be someone who you're not for some laughs, for some tweets, for some likes, for some friends, fake, whatever. It doesn't bother me. It's weird, but it doesn't bother me, right? But like you said, BitBoy, if you're doing it to profit off somebody, if you're doing it to steal from somebody, if you're doing it to take advantage, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Be cool, man. Oh, no.
Be cool.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that's what I got to say about it. What about you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I echo my own sentiments that you just echoed back to me. Yeah, I mean, I just don't do it. It's not worth it. And, like the amount of time and energy that you put into making shortcuts to try to, this is what I've never understood about scammers. The amount of time and energy it takes and the amount of research it takes to scam people, you would actually be a lot better served to just take those skills and talents, because unfortunately, like they are manipulation and getting over on people. Like there is a part of that is a talent. It's a skill, and use it for something positive. Start a freaking company and sell affiliate. So sell through affiliate programs or whatever. Convince people to buy from you, but it's legitimate. I've never really understood that about con men or scammers and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Go sell used cars. Just go sell used cars.
Slap that baby on the roof. You got to check out this model right here. Well, cool. Well, J-Chains, I guess that will wrap it up for today's episode of Beards and Bitcoins. Big shout out once again to our sponsors, both Huddle Fuel and also Crypto Movement. J-Chains, it was another great episode. We will talk to you guys later.
And don't forget, drop us your Catfish story on Twitter. We want to hear all about it so that you can win that bag of Huddle Fuel, all right?
That's right. All right, we'll see you guys.
See ya.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening to Beards and Bitcoins. If you like what you heard, show these guys some love and rate review on SoundCloud or iTunes. Also, remember you can always find the guys on social media. The show Twitter page is @BeardsBitcoins. You'll find direct links to BitBoy and J-Chains from there. Make sure you check for updates, announcements, and contests. Good luck to all who enter. See you next time.